You are watching the Sunday motivational video. 15 rules that make you rich and life easier. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Hello, Aluxers, and welcome back. Straight out of the gate, you're going to love this video. We've been thinking of making this one for a while now, and the time has come to deliver. Most people struggle with making decisions, with how to be more productive and make sense of their lives. This one's for you. For years, we've used these rules to get out of weird situations, to make the most of our time, and get an edge over others. We recommend you go through this list with us and write it down so you can apply it to your life starting today. Once you've got the tools you need, you're ready to begin. Here are the 15 rules that make your life so much easier and profitable. Number 1. The 100-10-3-1 investing rule. This first one is an investment rule. Most of you are interested in real estate investing, and this is probably the most well-known rule between professional property investors. If you're going to buy any property, you need to know this. The 100-10-3-1 rule goes like this. In order to make a smart investment, an investor must look at least 100 properties to find 10 potential deals that can be profitable. From these 10 potential deals, an investor will submit aggressive but fair offers on 3 of them. Of these 3 offers submitted, 1 will be accepted. 100-10-3-1. But that one property is going to make you a lot of money. Then repeat. Write it down and remember it. If you're serious about real estate investments, this is the foundation you want to build on. If you rush things, you're gonna lose money. Number 2. The YouCut, I Pick rule. We love this rule so much. One of our mentors taught it to us after selling a $20 million business. He said he uses it all the time, both in business and at home with his kids. Let's say your kids are fighting over the last piece of cake in the fridge, and both of them claim it to be rightfully theirs. Here's how the rule works. One person cuts, and the other person gets to pick which half they want to keep. This amazing rule gives power to both sides. It's one of those smart tricks that maximizes the return and also minimizes the risk at the same time. One kid cuts the piece of cake, and the other gets to choose which side they want. Because of this, both parties win, and the result is usually the perfect cut. This works great in business and in life. Some of you might be surprised to find out, but this rule is actually mentioned in the Bible as a tool to solve issues of this sort, in the book of Genesis, chapter 13 to be precise. Number 3. The 100-hour rule. This is one of those rules that should put clarity on what you should prioritize in life. It was repopularized recently by social influencer Jay Shetty. It all boils down to a big and simple question. If you had 100 hours to invest in 3 buckets, what you're good at, what you're average at, and what you're bad at, how would you split those hours? Take a moment to make your decision. Would you split it equally, 33, 33, and 33, maybe a bit more on other parts? When the same question was asked to the most successful and smart people in the world, their answer is beyond interesting. They said they would either put 80% into what they were really good at, and 10 and 10 in the other 2, or 100% and 0 and 0. This is really important, Aluxers. You need to invest almost all of your efforts into what you're exceptionally good at. Forget everything else and focus on your strengths, because this focus allows you to get ahead and win. Everything else will just result in you being average and lose. Number 4. The 10-10-10 rule. This is another decision-making rule that works great. It's frequently used by people like Warren Buffett and other billionaire investors to figure out what to do. Basically, when stressing over something, use the 10-10-10 rule. How will I feel about this in 10 minutes, 10 months, and what about 10 years? After getting some perspective, you'll notice how very few things end up worth stressing over. A choice might feel good in the moment, but have negative effects over the medium or long term. The reverse is also possible. Maybe something will suck in the next 10 minutes and even a bit afterward, but it will pay off in the long run. Any decision you have to make, run it by the rule of tens, and you'll start making better calls immediately. Number 5. The 5 a.m. rule. What do Tim Cook, Benjamin Franklin, Howard Schultz, Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, Richard Branson, The Rock, and Kevin Hart all have in common? They wake up freakishly early. They all sleep less than 6 hours every night, with the majority waking up around 5 a.m. When Alux was only a blog in the early days, there was a period of time in 2015 when the website really struggled. Due to a sudden change in Google's algorithm, we lost around 75% of our traffic, which meant a 75% cut in our revenue, while our expenses remained the same. Our solution whenever we deal with any sort of problem like this is to do 2 things: learn more and work more. So far, it hasn't failed us. In our research, we found an old piece by author Robin Sharma, who's been waking up consistently at 5 a.m. and swears by it. He even made a rule of how to optimize this to be more productive, splitting your first hour into 3 20-minute activities. The first 20 minutes, immediately jump out of bed and start working out. Push-ups are a great way to snap out of that sleepy state. This gets the blood rushing through your body and wakes you up. The next 20 minutes are about learning something new. This is where we used to come to YouTube and watch TED Talks on whatever title we found interesting that morning. The more varied the library of content, the better. Back then, we didn't have Alux as a video resource, so you've got that going for you. The last 20 minutes are planning. Make a list of the objectives you have for the day and what you're looking to achieve. By 6 a.m., you're ready to crush it. In our experience, we felt like we knew a secret nobody else knew. We were part of the 5 a.m. club of high achievers. We were crushing everything we used to do before 12. Then we took a short break and got back to work for another session. While everybody was working normal hours, we were putting in those extra hours that made all the difference. That's the time when we started investing in YouTube. Since then, Robin Sharma has polished a lot of this concept and has even distilled it all in a new book called The 5 a.m. Club. We'll leave a link to it in the description. And if you're looking to save a couple of bucks, you can always go to Alux.com/freebook and sign up. When you do, you can get the audiobook version for free, thanks to our partnership with the great folks at Audible. Number 6. The 2-minute rule. This is the most straightforward rule on this list. The 2-minute rule goes like this: if it only takes 2 minutes to do, just do it. Never postpone or neglect activities that can be solved immediately. There's something about our levels of stress that affect our productivity when we know we've still got more things to do. Also, getting small wins gives us a feeling of productivity and momentum that only builds up throughout the day. The 2-minute rule is the perfect cure for procrastination. If you don't feel like doing a task, force yourself to do it for just 2 minutes. Then you can give yourself a break if you want to. But for 2 minutes, really give it your full attention. It can't be that hard to focus for 2 minutes, right? Studies show that getting started is actually the hardest part of the task. And if you can get over that slump, you're more likely to finalize what you've started than actually quitting after the 2 minutes. Think of it like this. Let's say you don't want to brush your teeth. Tell yourself you're only going to brush one tooth, and if you want to stop afterwards, you can. Once you get that momentum going, it kinda makes sense to keep on going, doesn't it? So Aluxers, use the 2-minute rule and stop being lazy. Number 7. The 80-20 Rule. If you've been a subscriber to our channel, you should be more than familiar with it. For everyone else, the rule goes like this: 20% of your actions account for 80% of the results. This has been one of the most valuable things we've learned in business and in life. 20% of the workers produce 80% of the results. 20% of the customers create 80% of the revenue. 20% of the bugs cause 80% of the crashes. 20% of the features cause 80% of the usage. 20% of the words in a language make up 80% of conversations, and so on. Once you're aware of this powerful rule, you'll look at everything you're doing differently. We were first introduced to it in Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek, and since then, we've seen it all over the place. Number 8. The left-hand rule. This is more of a social life hack than a business rule. If you're at any kind of event where you're drinking, always hold the glass or cup in your left hand rather than your primary hand. Let's say you're grabbing a beer and suddenly you're introduced to someone new. What do? You go in to shake their hand. But if your hand has been on the cold, wet glass, it's going to feel weird and slimy. People will not remember your name, but they will remember how you made them feel, and clammy hands is a big no-no in any setting. Number 9. The apology rule. You're gonna make mistakes in life. Everybody does, and there's a way for you to move forward the right way. Pay close attention, and from this day forward, we want you to both use this rule for your actions and expect the same from everyone else. A real effective apology has 3 parts. 1. Acknowledge you were wrong and how it affected the person or outcome. 2. Say you're sorry. 3. Describe what you're going to do to make it right or make sure it doesn't happen again. Don't excuse or explain. If you've made a mistake, own up to it. There's no negotiating yourself from the truth, and there's more to gain by following this rule than by getting away with a mistake. Your entire life will change once you begin using it. It's also valuable with employees. Instead of a simple sorry, this helps both parties improve their relationship by building trust and solving the situation, instead of just hitting a wall of excuses. Number 10. The Golden Rule. This has been the most valuable piece of advice the world has ever come up with. It's the foundation of almost every religion out there, and is the solid foundation of being a decent human being. The Golden Rule is, say it with me, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. What is hateful to you, do not do to your fellow, etc. In whatever variation you want to, the idea is the same. Treat others nicely and don't just be an a-hole. The Golden Rule is also a great resource to build up good karma. Help others and people will help you back. If you're feeling stuck in life, maybe you start by helping others, and who knows where this will lead you. Because YouTube has been so volatile recently, we wanted to give a big shout out to NordVPN, who's been a valuable partner to us and the community. Many of you went to Alux.com/VPN and decided to sign up using Alux as the code for the exclusive offer of 75% off the 3-year deal. If you're on the fence about getting a VPN, this is probably the best offer on the table right now. Thank you if you do. That's Alux.com/VPN. This ties in well with our next rule. Number 11. The money equals time rule. You've probably heard the saying that time is money more times than you can count. But here's a little trick we learned, which will help you figure out if something is worth buying or not. We found it works incredibly well for people who want to stick to a budget every month. Here's how it works. Think of money in terms of hours. You make $10 an hour and you want to buy that $150 coat? Is that coat really worth 15 hours of work? By breaking down the price of something in work hours, you value things differently. You know how hard you work for your money, and this is why you can better understand the expense you're making. Is it worth spending a week of your life to get that new outfit? Is this holiday really worth the 3 months of working it took to get the money? You'll find that some things no longer make sense, while others are an obvious yes. It's up to you to figure out how much you earn per hour or day, then factor that into every time you make a purchase. Number 12. The odd time rule. If you have friends who are never on time, this is the rule for you. We've been testing this in our own friend group on a particular person who's always late, and by a lot, like more than 30 minutes late. So late that at one point we started lying to him about what time we were going to hang out and factoring in his 45 minutes of usual tardiness. Then we found out about this weird rule some people use to set meetings. If you schedule a meeting for 3:47 instead of 4 o'clock, the likelihood of people being late to the reference hour drops significantly. And make sure everyone knows that meeting will start at 3:47. If you do begin to start your meetings at these odd times, people pay more attention to the exact time they need to be there. Give it a try and see what happens. Number 13. The 10,000 hours rule. This one was popularized by one of our favorite writers, Malcolm Gladwell. In his book Outliers, the author explains that in order to master anything, you need to put in at least 10,000 hours toward it. The 10,000-hour rule is considered the key to success in any field. It's simply a matter of practicing a specific task that can usually be accomplished with 20 hours of work per week for 10 years. It doesn't matter when you start or how old you are. Put the 10,000 hours into something and you'll be an expert in that field. Some of the best performers in the world base their results on this rule. Now think about what your thing is, what you consider yourself good at. How much time have you put toward your craft or skill? Do the math, and then figure out how much more you have to invest in order to master it. Number 14. The stay poor, be rich rule. This is something we came up with and have used it personally and within our friend circle. Here's what we figured out. The more time a person is willing to live like they're poor, despite not having to, the richer they will become. Sorry we don't have a shorter version, but bear with us. The main difference between those who will keep on being rich and those who lose wealth is their ability to control their lifestyle spending. We've seen people make a lot of money, blow through most of it, and end up back where they started. We know it's been hard and you've just started seeing progress with your business or venture, but don't go and blow through your money. Don't buy an expensive car. Don't buy the expensive home. Instead, keep your head down, pretend the money is not there, and invest it. Putting this money to work for you will be a lot more valuable to your lifestyle than spending it right now. It's similar to the concept of delayed gratification, but for rich people and entrepreneurs. Number 15. The coin rule. We've been using this since before Alux was even a thing. It's not what you think. You don't decide your fate by flipping a coin. That's what stupid people do. Instead, look within yourself. Our version of the coin rule goes like this. If you need to make an important decision, you flip a coin on it. But the thing is, you don't really care about the outcome. In those few seconds while the coin is in the air, your gut tells you what you're actually wishing for the outcome to be. Then, pursue that. Why would you leave any big choice to chance when you already know what you want to do deep within yourself? Hopefully you found this video valuable and took notes like we suggested. Which rule did you find the most interesting and will use in the future? Let us know in the comments. You might not be aware of this, but we read a large portion of the comments that come our way. We study what you guys think, what your reactions are to the content we put out, to figure out how we can improve. You know what will never change? The bonus part for those of you watching these videos until the end. Here it is. Number 16, the first date rule. We know some of you Aluxers are going on dates, so we wanted to give you guys some input into how the financial situation should be dealt with. We'll jump to the point because this video is already long enough. The guy should always pay for the meal. The girl should pay for the dessert. If you're taking a girl out, please act like a gentleman and take care of the bill, but do not order dessert. Instead, stop for ice cream or something sweet afterwards. This gives the girls the opportunity to show that they can pay for themselves, that they valued the interaction, and it gives you both more time to talk in a better environment. A healthy relationship is based on mutual respect and partnership, not to mention communication and honesty. Unspoken expectations can lead to the degradation of your relationship. But if you truly follow that golden rule and enter into relationships honestly, in time, you're bound to find a partner to love and love you back. Thank you for spending some time with us, Aluxers. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos for you to watch next. As always, the conversation continues on social media. Thanks again, and we can't wait to have you back tomorrow.